let me introduce actually. This is Sohail. He is the mastermind behind the Jewelers League. And one of my favorite Instagram accounts, I'm not even going to lie, on Instagram, talking about business growth, specifically jewelry business growth. And I really wanted to merge our communities, and to make sure that especially, my community members can take as much information from you as possible. So the stage is yours.
Thank you, August. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you all for being here today. Like you said, I'm Sohail. And honestly, jewelry has been my world for the last 15 years. About 5 years ago, I started Jewelers League because I kept seeing amazing jewelry brands struggle with their online stores. And you know how it is, beautiful pieces that just aren't getting the attention deserve online. So we decided to work exclusively with jewelry brands on their Shopify stores, no other industries, because well, selling a piece of jewelry is well unlike selling anything else. I mean, technically. So I see we've got quite a few people here today, and I'd love to know who I'm talking to. So if you want to drop in the chat where you're from, what kind of jewelry you create, that would be immensely helpful for me to kind of use it as my examples or make it more relatable. But everything that we cover today is a little bit more than the fundamental, but definitely something that applies across the board, and something that we can all use to maximize conversions and increase our sales. Wow, that's a lot of people from all over the world. Canada, London. Hi, Dan. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Jill. Oh, awesome. That is, oh, beautiful wedding jewelry. Nice. Excellent. Hi, Victoria. Cool. So today I really want to share some practical stuff. Like I was saying, I was just talking to August before this, that you can actually use in business. We will talk about making your Shopify store work better, getting found online, and bringing in the right kind of traffic. At any point, if you want to drop into chat, you want to tell me what your biggest headache with the online store is, please feel free to drop that in and we can take it up at the end of the session. I would like to start with something we all know very well. When someone walks into your booth or at a show or your store, they typically shop in one of two ways. Someone comes with a specific mission, saying, I need a 1 carat diamond pendant in white gold, while some others browse more emotionally. For example, I'm looking for something special for my daughter's graduation. So when thinking about online, I like to think about how I can serve both of these shoppers. But I find here's where most of jewelry stores go wrong. They force customers to choose one path or the other. So either everything's organized by metal type and stone size, or everything's sorted by occasion, style, or collection names. But the secret, I feel, is serving both. I'm starting right at the top, right at the navigation structure, where most customers would have the first interaction with your store and decide the path going forward. So I'm going to just cover a little bit of the foundational stuff first. Simply market using Shopify, not MailChimp. Great. Okay, I'm going to try and share my. Okay, so I have something which I call a dual path system when I think about how I'm going to design or think about my user's journey. Can you see my screen? Can you see the screen which says the dreamer's journey? So like I said, I call it my dual path system. And there are literally like two elements to it. The way I like to call it, it's the dreamer or the researcher. So the dreamer's path is usually based on occasions. So they are looking for engagement or anniversary or graduation or they are looking for style-based categories, which are maybe vintage inspired or modern minimal or classic elegance, or their perfect first diamond ring or their perfect first diamond pendant. So it's all about their emotional journeys and what stories or what moments they are celebrating and connecting is one way that users either browse your website. The other side of that pathway is what I call the researchers route, who are more of a technical buyer. They are more into material specifications, metal types, gemstones, price ranges that make sense for jewelry. And the decision generally is more a data-driven decision where they're comparing value, they're looking at certification, specifications, specific trust signals that they have in order to uh, basically make a selection and henceforth a buying decision. Oh, that's Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. Quick. Okay. So I feel in terms of setting this up, it's important that your jewelry website for maximum conversions is able to serve both of these customers through your menus, through your collections, and through your website structuring. How we do it is we optimize navigation for buyers through the power of smart navigation. So here's how you set it up. You create your main navigation categories. Uh, Most of the people, if they're here on Shopify, we have OS 2.0 on Shopify, which allows you meta fields. There's a quick technical note. If you are still using tags to segregate your products on Shopify, that should be something you decide to change this year. Just like Instagram, just like we keep hearing hashtags are out on Instagram, tags are out on Shopify as well, because they don't allow you to create any additional values, any additional categories that help your customer. Tags only work on the back end to help you create collections and smart collection based on tagging, but you cannot use them on the front end to, for example, create smart search filters that we often see on e-commerce websites. And you can say filter by. So most of the jewelry stores that we see have huge catalogs, but are stuck, even when you go around to filter it, it's usually stuck to price, availability, and then like the standard sort by best-selling price filters. Whereas when a customer's on your website, they might want to break it down. They might want to see it by style, like hoop or dangle or drop, or they might want to see it by occasion if you've tagged them such as like ideal for Mother's Day, ideal for Valentine's Day, and such. So I think optimizing navigation is the first thing. Also, we are talking about this because it definitely helps with your SEO. It allows you to create smarter creations and smarter website structure, which allows Google to serve your website to other people. I spoke about it recently on my Instagram. The reason I'm saying about this is because not enough people know it, but Shopify has made it super, super, super easy to add tags. So automatically, when you select a product category, for example, say necklace or bracelet, there's something now you must have all seen, which is called category meta fields, and it has a pre-created list of options that both Shopify and Google recognize. So tagging your store. So for example, when you say necklace, you will see a drop down and it will say necklace design. And it allows you to create, say, whether it's a chain pendant, whether it's a choker, whether it's a necklace design. What this does is it kind of makes your data consistent with all the data that Google has for stores who have used those meta fields. And then Google can do an apple to apple comparison. So if a customer was actually looking for a pendant design, they're able to tell from your store which designs are pendants, or if they were looking for dangles or drops. Google is now being able to see, because there is something called a product taxonomy, which is standard across the world. Google uses it, Facebook uses it, Shopify uses it, and they all have the same categories. So once you do that, you literally make Google understand what your jewelry is, what your designs are, who is it suitable for, age-wise, gender-wise, color-wise, material-wise, and it has all of these options, which are great. So I would definitely put Shopify meta fields as one of the fundamental SEO hacks on a foundation structural level if you're trying to have more conversions and give your users a better experience. Like I said, it also improves your search and filtering accuracy, because then you can use the same fields on your product pages to allow customers to filter your designs by those exact same options. Not only that, it enhances customer experience and it helps you create smarter collections. What happens with tags is, usually we see that with most of the customers, is there are multiple variations. There is title case, there is sentence case, there is underscore, there is all kinds of variations for the same amount, same data, which kind of looks like a laundry list and gets a little exhausting after a certain amount of time to structure your data. But by using meta fields, you can do away with all of that, have a very clear structure, which is easy to follow and easy to create smart collections with. So it's saying in terms of customization, I know it's not directly something that helps the user experience like on the home page itself, but it makes a huge difference when you have that streamlined product discovery through your website. It's like a magic portal, and the customers can find your jewelry by occasion, style, material, etc. Okay. Like I said, my PPT is messed up. I don't know what happened. Suddenly everything changed. Okay. Sorry, they just added a bunch of slides. I did not plan for it. Anyway, the next important thing is mobile first optimization. Again, it's one of those basic things that we've heard many, many times, and yet we see a lot of websites that are not optimized for mobile phones, right? I would say right now, like pull out your phone right now, open your store, I'll wait, try to buy your most expensive piece and see how many taps does it take. Can you see all of the details? Is the price always visible while you scroll? It's very surprising that a lot of businesses are slightly disconnected with the user journey and how easy or difficult it is to find a product when browsing on mobile. And when 67% of all your website traffic being on mobile, it kind of becomes one of the most important things for conversion, because if we cannot see, feel, and really get a sense of your jewelry on a 6-inch screen, that's lost sales quite a lot. I mean, that is driving away a lot of customers just because it was not mobile responsive. So I would say, here's what matters most for jewelry on mobile. And August, you know this better than anybody else. Obviously, the image presentation and how your high resolution photos work, the zoom functionality, whether it shows details clearly, multiple angles that are easy to swipe through, videos, if you have videos that play smoothly and show scale. After that, I would say the biggest conversion drivers and the critical information is your price visible? Are your size and customization options visible? Do you have an easy access to sizing guides? Do you have a quick view of shipping and return policies? And most importantly, are all of these elements touch friendly? Are the buttons large enough to tap confidently with one thumb? Because if it's not, I mean, it's really, I say this often, we live in the social media 3-second attention span period. If I cannot do something in 3 seconds, I don't want to do it at all, kind of a space. So that becomes very, 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 very important in this day and age, while we literally live with our phones. So I would say quick wins that we should all check for immediately is resize your product images, specifically if they don't appear correctly on a mobile phone. Make sure your most important information is above the fold, that as soon as I land on the page, I see the most important information right there, and make sure all buttons are large enough. Apple's golden ratio for buttons is 44 by 44 pixels. That's the golden ratio with Apple users. So it's best to stick with it. If Apple does it, it's pretty standardized by this point. And ensure that pricing is visible without scrolling. And if you have a slightly fancier theme, then mostly you would have it in your theme settings where you can make sure that the price either stays or scrolls as a sticky price, which basically scrolls as the page scrolls. So it's easy to add to cart when a customer is ready to do that. Okay, that's see if you from the meta fields. Yes, the category meta fields with age, gender, it also says, it also gives you, like I said, it also gives you options for your jewelry design. It also gives you options for jewelry material, which are standardized. And then you can create new meta fields for your store, which could be occasion-based or collection-based. For example, if you want to add something which is not a part of the standard meta fields. But all of this leads us into smart search optimization. And here's something fascinating about jewelry customers. So they don't often know the technical terms that we use. They might search for something like Kate Middleton's ring instead of Sapphire Hello engagement ring. That's what we see on so many search queries, which is like a descriptive search rather than a very technical search. So I always say your search needs to understand both languages, hence the dual pathway system, where you need to make sure that the carat, metal, stone types are in there, but also descriptive terms like delicate, stunning, vintage looking, or if it is occasion, then it's engagement, graduation, anniversary. If it's style based, you could do modern, classic, bohemian, but basically a blend of these two usually will give you better search results, better search impressions, and a much better user experience for your customer. Before we move into the next segment is drop a quick yes in chat if you're already implementing any of these. If you have any questions about these, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we will get to them. So like I said, technical search terms, descriptive search terms, occasion-based search terms, Shopify meta fields. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk was about the essential product apps that can make your work easier and help you get done more faster. So very often I get asked about apps a lot and which ones are important. The bulk editor app is one of my favorites in the tech stack that makes my life easy and my customers happy. Your jewelry stores typically only need about 10 essential apps if you have a Shopify native theme to handle 90% of your challenges. So I usually divide them in foundation apps, customer experience apps, and growth channel apps, right? So foundation apps are a Hexstamp bulk editor with the gold prices going up and down, with discounts, with sales, with marketing campaigns. This app is a game changer for managing inventory and prices. It can easily handle huge amounts of data, but the best part is it does not require you to export data into Excel and then import it back in and have all of those issues. You could simply specify by simple conditions saying the collection is rings, give it your search filters and say the items are active, and then just create an update saying, I want to increase my prices by 10% on this collection, or I want to increase my prices by 20% on this collection, or I want to put all of these items into a certain product category, whatever it may be. And the best part is you can't go wrong because it gives you 60 days of backup. So just in case if you updated something that didn't work, you can simply hit a revert button and everything goes back to the way it was. So I think that's a foundation app that I absolutely recommend for all jewelry businesses to make updates quickly across all of their categories, collections, products, tags, meta fields. It handles it, everything all at once. The other app that I recommend is called Mirar. It's a virtual try-on app. If you have been thinking about it, if that's something that you would like to test, that's a great app. In this day and age, again, we are all on our phones. We are all about exactly knowing what we are getting. And I think that app is definitely something to explore if that interests you. The other third app that I consider is very foundational is a size chart for jewelry. Since most of the returns are either size related, or most of the abandoned carts are abandoned because the size information isn't clear and there is no clarity on how it's going to fit a person when they get it. So a size chart app really helps increase conversions because now customers can exactly see what size they need to order, and it obviously reduces returns, which is really helpful. And Judge Me is a product review app which helps you to basically display your product reviews for customer. It also has a bit of automation. So once your order is fulfilled, it allows you to send out automatic emails, collect reviews, and then display that on your product pages, which increases conversion, which increases I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, which increases conversions and it increases trust on the product page. Okay. Next, I would briefly touch upon the growth channel apps. A lot of businesses do wholesale, they buy wholesale, they sell wholesale. They either also sell on Etsy. So any apps which are wholesale related, which would be Fair Buy Wholesale, Fair Sell Wholesale, Wholesale Gorilla. Wholesale Gorilla is one of my favorite apps if you sell wholesale and you do not want to create line sheets and order sheets and you want customers to easily go into your website behind a login and order at the wholesale prices just as your regular customer would. Wholesale Gorilla is a great app, and it also automates all of your product feeds between your Shopify store and all of the other marketplaces that you work with. So for example, Etsy or Pinterest or any other platforms. So I would say those are two more essential apps that you absolutely need to consider. Okay. And then finally, there is one more app which I like, which I just remembered. One's called a custom product builder. It's to build custom pieces, and if you offer personalization, engraving, charm selection, any of those, custom product builder is a great app. And Shopify Search and Discovery is an app for jewelry specific search. It allows you to configure meta fields. So this is a list of my must-have essential apps that I wanted to put out there and tell people about. Okay. Next, do you have any questions? August, would you like to add anything to this?
No, I absolutely love everything that you said. I wanted to double check. What was the customer experience apps that you would recommend as well? Because all of the apps that you recommended for foundation and for growth channel apps are second to none. Is there anything in particular that you use for customer experience enhancement?
Customer experience enhancement, like I said, one of the apps that I often use is Custom Product Builder, which I was just talking about, to personalize jewelry. Upsell apps and apps that increase cart value, like Smile app. There's a Smile loyalty app, which basically gives loyalty reward points to your customer. There's another app called Appstill, which is a subscription management app. And if you sell subscription boxes or bundles, it allows you to manage those, which increase customer experience on your website. But
What
I
was
feel
that called, sorry?
Appstill, Appstle. I think it's
Thank you.
and yeah, so those apps allow you to do loyalty points, rewards, subscription boxes. Again, going back to upsell, I feel Shopify Search and Discovery is a free native app that allows you to create recommended products. It allows you to create bundles. It allows you to showcase complementary products on your product pages. So in terms of a user experience, I would also say that's a must-have since it's built by Shopify for Shopify, and it's absolutely free. So I would say that's a definite high up on the list to improve customer experience.
Amazing. And I see there's a few questions about the meta fields as well. That is quite new for me because I don't use Shopify much, but it's really interesting. So what are the most important meta fields, Susan is asking? Should you have type, necklace, example, necklace, bracelet, and should there be categories within each? When are you getting in too much detail? Are variant meta fields just as important as the product meta field? Because yeah, that's true. You can go into different sections and different types for eternity, right? So what is the perfect golden ratio?
So the minimum 4 that you should fill out for better structuring and better SEO are obviously your main category, which is your level 1 category, necklace, bracelet. The second option that it opens up when you select that would be bracelet design or necklace design or ring design. So that would be the second. So that would be the first meta field category that you should really fill out on your store. The second one would be the jewelry material, whether it's fine jewelry, whether it's costume jewelry, whether it is semi-precious jewelry. That would be the second most important one. There is color, there is age, and there is gender. So not 4, sorry, my bad, 5. These 5 meta fields are kind of, they should almost make it mandatory to fill these up. And then you can, like you said, go as deep into it as you want and create as many structures. Variant meta fields are useful if you sell a lot of product variants and each of them have different, like for example, if you sell a particular design in different gemstones, each of them might have a different weight or each of them might differ in size. At that point, it helps to then configure variant meta fields. So based on the customer selection, it can show you the right option when that item is selected. But unless that's a huge part, it starts to get a little more complex when you get into variant meta fields. But definitely, if you start with product meta fields, it starts to become so much easier. And I mean, I'm not talking about collection meta fields, which allow you to then add dynamic content on your website. But as a starting point, if you're not using meta fields currently, you should definitely start thinking about how to start using at least the product meta fields. Plus, using these product meta fields enables your products to appear in the Google Shopping tab. So when you search something, and we usually see a carousel right on top, which is items that you can shop, without these meta fields, Google will never know what your product is. It will never appear there. And it's practically the easiest way to rank right on top, even above the sponsored ad. It's literally free SEO. And I know 80% of businesses don't have those meta fields filled up, which is a huge opportunity loss.
Oh my God, that's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Regarding the apps, I see many questions about the app names. Maybe after the call, we can
Oh,
share the slides or the names of the apps that you mentioned, because I'm sure people can pick out different apps, beneficial for them. I think that would be really
absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to move into the next one? Okay. Now I know, August, you're an absolute master at creating stunning visuals that tell your brand story. So I won't spend any time telling you about photography today. I'm sure I mean, I need to learn from you about photography and how to use it. Instead, I'm going to focus on something equally crucial, which is how to structure your product pages to turn those beautiful photos into actual sales. And we've analyzed over 100 jewelry stores in and their performance in Q4 of 24. And you know what's really interesting? The conversion rates for businesses are about 3x higher when they have certain specific technical elements attached to their business and their product pages. For this part, I would like to first find my window. Okay, 1 second. I'm trying to find where my presentation window is. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so these are the 5 elements. Obviously, you start with a visual gallery, which is your product photographs, which make the first impact. You must incorporate, and this is all above the fold. So as soon as I land on the page, this is what customers like to see. And this is what I said increases conversions. A visual gallery, trust signals, right? Some telling me that your brand is legit and it can be trusted. Any certifications, any features, any special features that you have, the price, of course, any warranty information, any financial information that you have above the fold helps to amplify trust and increase conversions. I have a website that I absolutely love, and I think they do it 100% correct. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen and I'm going to share another screen to kind of give it a more example. This is one of the websites I absolutely love. I refer to it quite often. And I think it's kind of the checklist or the benchmark. It's called Orate New York. Okay. Like I said, they have fine jewelry, like things we spoke about, in stock bestsellers, categories. They have trending. Again, they're using on gemstones. They're featuring their collections. They're appealing to the technical buyer by saying if you want round, oval, cushion. But here's what it gets interesting. When I get into rings, see these values that you see over here have been entered in meta fields. So even though they don't appear in the menu, as soon as I come on the rings page, now it's asking me to filter out and eliminate extra items so I can be closer to purchase instead of getting all confused. But here's where it gets beautiful in terms of when I talk to product pages. Of course, they have great visuals, but when I say above the fold, here are the things I see above the fold. I see image, I see all of the additional images, lifestyle images, right? Which gives me an idea of the scale and really how that product looks. They even have a 360-degree view with all of their products, right? On the right-hand side, they have the title, they have the reviews, they have, sorry, went too far. They have their price, then they have the basic selectors, which will allow you to make your choice, and those are customized, so you exactly know how these are done. But the important fact is to have these right. They have a shipping notification or a delivery notification, so I exactly know when my product is going to ship out. They have the add to back button, and then they also have the financial information right here. So this is all above the fold before I've even scrolled down the page at all, giving me all of the essential information that I need to know before I either continue checking this product out or move out. Then next, I love what they do over here. Their quality, their services, everything is listed visually. It's brief, it's concise, whether you see it on desktop, whether you see it on mobile. It's absolutely easy to really understand what they're trying to say without having to read large essays of text and trying to understand what they're saying. Like one glance through it, and we all know what they're trying to communicate. And then further down, they have their story, their detailed description, they have their specs, they have fit information and the ring sizer, okay? And then they have a detailed description of the materials used. So in terms of a product page, and I often say this, you'll often hear me say this on my Instagram page as well, homepage is not where conversions happen. Conversions happen on your product page, and we often end up, and I'm guilty of that myself, we often end up obsessing over the homepage of the website. But if you ask me honestly, I would rather that the customer only spend 3 to 5 seconds on my homepage and then move on to a collection page or a product page, because that's where the conversion is going to actually happen. And all of the information that I need to convey about my brand, my service, my trust signals, and legitimacy of the business can all happen on this page. So moving forward, as you can see, then they've covered all of these information here. Then they have the upsell feature. Now this, like I was saying, with a search and discovery Shopify app, you can easily build this into whatever Shopify theme you're using. Even if you're using Dawn, you could easily build this section and say this pairs well with, and introduce complementary products, which increase your conversions and your overall cart value of the business. Then they want to give you reviews. Again, this is the reason I mentioned the Judge Me app. Reviews to build further trust, to provide social proof, to show how other people have trusted them, bought from them, and love their brand, right? And then there's using another video for a bit of brand storytelling, showing behind the scenes, showing their craftsmanship and heritage of the brand. And then finally, obviously, we come down to the footer. But if you look at it in terms of an e-commerce page for jewelry, this is almost near perfect of everything that they're doing. Now, with that information, if you start seeing other brands, you will start to see that a lot of the successful brands, a lot of the brands that are creating consistent high numbers and are the movers and shakers of the industry, are all doing similar things in different ways. So just like we saw the selection over there, as soon as I come to earrings, this allows me to now start filtering out and making a choice instead of looking at 200 items in a catalog. So I can now drill down and say, I will be looking at your customer. Again, they have similar structure. They have similar, I apologize, my internet is super slow today. And they have like the product, the images, same elements, their variant options, their size guide, their stock reminder information, their add to bag, their pairs well with, then their description, details, materials, and then what they stand for, and then again, other related items, bestsellers, customer reviews. So if you think about it, it's pretty much exactly the same, but just done in their own style. So the more websites you see, whether you see Zales, whether you see H. Samuels, you go to any other brand, and if you look at things from this perspective, you'll start to see how they are all optimizing and focusing on the product pages more, because like I started with, that's where conversion is going to come from. And that's where you want to answer your customers' questions without giving them a chance to even send a message or hesitate before buying from you.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. And it's very interesting because I actually refer to Jewellery myself all the time as the brand that has a template that just works, you know. And I'm like, guys, if you are lost with how to structure, you know, your web page, just go to brands that have done it for the past 5 years, that have succeeded, and you will see exactly what you said. The structure is the same everywhere. It's just, you know, how it's been executed is different, you know?
Right.
So instead of trying to invent something brand new, just go the trusted and followed path because they always chase trends, you know. Those are the brands that constantly do analysis on what works, what doesn't work, what are the bottlenecks in their business, where the customers, you know, don't stop and buffer, you know, before going to the, you know, the checkout page and learn from them. You know, if I feel like if I had a jewelry store, one of the things I would do every single day is pick up one of the, you know, biggest, best performing jewelry brands and just analyze the hell out of it, from the website to content to social media to newsletters to everything that they do, you know. And in just a few months, you would have this crazy library of knowledge on what the best of the best do and how to, you know, and then you can start optimizing it and implementing those things into your business as well. So yeah, that was really insightful. Thank
I
you.
fully agree. What you said there was absolute gold. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. There is a structure that works. Uh, I work with brands. Each jewelry brand is different. There are different creative elements to that. There are different uh, things that their audience wants. But I boil down the e-commerce conversion process and how sales happen online to something very basic. And technically, I mean, we're talking about jewelry and we're saying Missouri or Orate or any other brand. But if you really, really distill down further and look down like history, it's all Amazon. This is everything that Amazon has created, and successful brands have replicated it over and over and over again because it works. And that is often my advice to a lot of businesses who want to do something different. And I'm quite strong when it comes to that. I'm like, don't have to be different for the sake of it, because you might want to move your image to the right and your text to the left. It might look creative and fancy, but it's absolutely going to send me spiraling and I will not know what to do next. And in that case, my immediate go-to is exit out instead of trying to figure it out. So what you said, I 100% agree with. These brands or any other brands that you seem, do you think are doing well, you think are performing, or are your aspirational brands? When you boil it down, they're all doing the exact same things. Maybe somebody has 10 of 10 elements and somebody has 8 of those elements or 7 of those elements. But that's the ultimate goal, to exactly offer all of those things and offer the same user experience that big, successful, fancy brands are offering their customers, which is the reason they are where they are.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. We have quite a few questions actually, I see. Would you like to tackle them now or shall we leave them for the end?
Either ways, I'm happy if you want to tackle them now. Let's talk about it while we're on the subject, and then yeah.
Fantastic. Megan is asking how can I add the in stock ship by details in Shopify?
Okay, so in your Shopify, you would go to, again, give me, if you allow me 1 second, I will give you a live demo. So it's not just words and we can actually see how it's done. It's super simple.
Amazing. And whilst you're looking, I'm just gonna read through other comments as well. Natalie's asking about any app recommendations that can give a decent range of icons for jewelry businesses for all of the related product information. Yeah, that is a very good question, actually. I've been thinking about that too. Is that something that Shopify has integrated already, or is that an external app?
The Shopify does have that integrated as well. Let me open up. my test theme and I can show. Okay, let me find how to share my screen. So here we go. Share. Okay, so here's what your Shopify backend looks like. Okay, here's how you do it. You go to your menu, then you go to your products, you go to default product, you go to your product information on the left, and you simply click on this add block over here, and you can add a text option, and you can configure what that is going to be in stock. For example, ships in 3 to 4 business days. And you can select what style would you like it to be, subtitle, or you want it to be uppercase. And then you can drag it to any place that you want. I usually like to have it right under the buy button or right above the buy button so that it's easy and it doesn't deter from the sale. But that's how you do it. This is a slightly older version of Dawn, so I don't think I have that. But similarly, you have another option which allows you to add icons in right here. Yeah, this is an older version, but let me get back to you, and maybe I might need to, if we can gather all the questions, I'd be happy to send an email, August, if you want to send it out to the community later, and I can make a list of all of the apps that we're getting in questions and then send them out.
That would be fantastic. I would love to share that with our newsletter subscribers as well. Talking about the Shopify versions, Sunny was asking a while ago, which Shopify version should we be using? Depending on the version, will the amount of apps slow down your fast page load structure?
Yes. So, I mean, essentially, Shopify 2 years back, they changed their entire functionality and moved to OS 2.0. So, if your website was last upgraded or created more than 2 or 3 years ago, then there's a very good chance that you're still on OS 1.0, which is the old version, which does increase your load time. It does increase and is not as responsive as new versions of the Shopify ecosystem. But most importantly, here's a way to tell if you could not add sections in your Shopify on your own outside of your homepage, if that was the only place where you could add different sections, then you are most definitely on OS 1.0. But if you are able to do that on your collection page or your product page or any other page, then you are on OS 2.0. When it comes to Shopify theme specifically, right? Shopify theme providers launch several updates all through the year, where they keep fixing bugs, they keep fixing the solutions that they offer, and it is recommended to update them if your website is having those glitches or having those problems. It's a bit of a task because when you update a theme, it basically will carry all of your native Shopify customizations. But if you spend any money or time customizing certain elements of your store, it does not carry that over. So what I like to do is I like to always look at the theme that we have. I like to go to support and documentation tab and then compare the release version to your release version. And they always list what were the issues that they have fixed in that particular version. If none of those glitches affect you, if none of those, and if it's not really an old version, so for example, this is version 11 and you are not on like a 5, 6, 7 kind of a version, then most often it's not really important to update the theme on an urgent basis. Of course, having the most updated version of the theme does help with load times and responsive and make it faster, but it's a cost versus opportunity kind of an analysis to see whether you really have the requirement in your business to update the theme first, or there are other foundational elements that need your time and attention. Because as a business owner, I mean, obviously everything always needs a fix and needs a correction, but then we have to be selective about where you spend your time. So I hope that that was the question and I answered it. But yes, themes in a nutshell, it improves load time, but you don't have to update it every version. Every new theme doesn't have to be downloaded.
Fantastic. I didn't even know that there are so many Shopify versions, to be honest. So that was news to me. Suzanne is asking, coming back to your example of Aurate website. She's saying that Aurate is interesting. It doesn't have a description that is saley right away, which a lot of, kind of like fast-paced e-commerce jewelry stores have at the moment. But Suzanne has been told that this is necessary to have as number one. I feel like the running lines in red saying flash sale ending in 20 minutes kind of a thing, the countdowns, all these pop-ups that say hurry now, buy as soon as possible. What are your thoughts on that? She's saying that perhaps this is how my Shopify is set up. The sales description is story. What do you think of this?
Absolutely. That's a perfect segue in what I wanted to talk about next. Like we were discussing at the beginning, a lot of brands till date are in a pre-2020 era where keyword stuffing, saying vintage engagement rings 10 times on your page would get you Google ranking. It's not the case anymore, and it's going to change big time in 2025, thanks to all of the AI tools that we have, because Google is predominantly not the search tool that we use, which is what the case was a couple of years ago. Anytime you had a question, you would go to Google. Now you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Perplexity, you can ask DeepSeek. There are 100 different tools. With ChatGPT video, I've tried that myself, where you just switch on the video, have a video chat, and ask ChatGPT, this is the dress I'm wearing, what accessories would go with it, and it will exactly bring out a customized list of accessories based on the style that you would specify and say, I want a vintage look to go with this dress, and it will recommend what you should be wearing. Currently, we're still in that pre-SEO era because all AI models are not doing that. And that's the reason Google is scared as it is. The only difference between the all hell breaking loose on that ground is as soon as these AI models immediately start linking to the end product page of the website, you will no longer need to go to Google. Currently, you do your ChatGPT research and you get a list of items, and then you go on your Amazon and you go on your Google, and then you search that item with that specific title or name recommendation that the AI tool gave you. But that is all set to change within a year or 2 years, where ChatGPT itself will link out to that end product page. So from your ChatGPT screen, you are straight on that website's product page, and all of the selling and all of the convincing has already happened even before you visited the website. At that point, you get to the website and then you just immediately either buy or you exit out, and then you look at 4 or 5 links, but one of them is going to get sales. So given that, like the way I started, given that it's no longer about keywords, it's about conversations. Here's what you think. When you think about SEO, I would request everybody to think of SEO like the conversations that you have. Think of what room are you in, or what conversations you want to be a part of, what places you're being spoken of, and what context you are being spoken of. So for example, while we are using technical product descriptions these days and age, your customers are searching in different languages. For example, your customer is looking for jewelry, but they are looking for a gold necklace. But when they go to Google search, they are not looking for a 14-karat butterfly gold necklace. They are looking for necklaces that won't tangle in sleep, jewelry that won't turn green, stackable rings for small fingers. These are real problems, if you can call it so, or real questions that people have about the purchase that they're going to make. And those are the search terms that are actually bringing more traffic than investing on the traditional 14 karat ring or 14 karat semi-fine, semi-precious necklaces. So it's a find profitable niche keywords in your sorry, I keep losing my tab. I have that.
That's okay. We were talking about the keywords and
so like I said, you have to find your keywords. The importance of understanding the search intent is the key to unlock the secret to SEO. There are different types of search intents, like there is getting info, finding a place, informational, transactional, and what are people searching for? Engagement rings, custom jewelry, affordable necklaces, and then create content based on intent. So if you are selling layering necklaces, you should be writing content about how to untangle layering necklaces or how to carry layering necklaces when you're traveling so that they will not tangle. That is the information people are looking for, and that naturally leads into your website because they're getting the answers that they want and not something that they want to, that you're trying to sell to them. So for example, I have a couple of formulas on some page. Okay, so here's what I would do. I would go to AI. I would simply ask, list problems jewelry customers want to solve, list specific occasions people buy jewelry, list emotional reasons people search for jewelry, or you'd say you are a specific customer type that you're trying to appeal to, shopping for a specific jewelry type that you sell, write questions that you would ask Google. And then once you get those 8 or 10 questions and keywords and occasions, then incorporate them naturally into your product details and your story, and how does it interestingly get to be a part of the product description. So again, if we look at orate, right, as we were told, it says a piece guaranteed to add a touch of elegance to your Valentine's Day look, introducing lab-grown white sapphire heart ring, incorporating heart-shaped lab-grown white sapphire stones, set in beautiful high-quality vermeil, perfect gift to give your significant other this Valentine's Day. This is about 250 characters, but it at least has 5 to 7 keywords that it could rank for. It has a benefit, an intent-based keyword, which is elegance, like elegant ring, or it has a Valentine Day. It has the perfect gift, right? It has lab-grown sapphire stones. It has heart-shaped lab-grown sapphire stones, and it has vermeil. So it doesn't have to be a big essay. A small piece of text can also communicate everything in a natural way, and that is pretty much what we want to know. And then obviously you have all of the technical details. Again, to explain it another way, think about the conversations you have at the store. Think about the conversations you have at your booths or fairs or marketplaces. When a customer comes in, you don't just say, this is a 14 karat necklace, 3 karat. You find out what makes it tick. What is it that they are looking for? What is their style? Are they looking for something vintage? Are they looking for everyday wear? What is the purpose? And then you showcase your best collection or your selection of products that would then fit their need. But somehow we're all guilty of this. When it comes to translating that to online, it boils down to technical specs more often than not, but that's not how people necessarily buy the jewelry. So I'd say.
Sohail, can I ask you a very quick question?
Sure.
Because that just fascinated me. So do you think the descriptions of the products should be changed quite regularly depending on the occasion coming up? For example, if they have this heart ring for the past 5 years in stock, it's one of the best sellers, they're just keeping it there. Would they change the description depending on the day? So for example, now the keywords Valentine's Day, perfect gift are stuffed in there. Would then they change the wording closer to Christmas and closer to Black Friday as well?
Yes. All of these search terms in Q4 were positioned as holiday gifts, as gifts for your partner. And now only between the last week of December and first week of January, they've all changed to Valentine. And for relevant items, as soon as Valentine is over, it's now going to change to Mother's Day as soon as Valentine's is over, because people, there are seasonal cohorts, right? If you think about a jewelry business, like Q1 is all about new year, new me, new beginnings, Valentine's Day. That's pretty much what you have in Q1. I mean, in the United States, you also have what's an unofficial selling season, but I used to work wholesale and I had a lot of customers, and March was big because they used to get tax refunds. So people had a lot of money, and Christmas was done. So family was gifted. Valentine was over. So like the better half is happy. So March, whatever extra money comes in, they want to spend on themselves. I mean, so they could be buying jewelry, or they could be buying handbags, or they could be buying. So it's a big selling season in the first quarter. Second quarter, you have spring, early summer, Mother's Day. That's the only seasonal campaigns that you can technically have, right? Q3, you could do new collection launches, you could do clearance, and you could do uh, basically getting rid of your old inventory. Plus, you have little milestone celebration events and holidays that you could do in Q3. Q3 is traditionally the slowest for jewelry businesses, right? And then Q4, obviously, you get into that gift giving season, right? In between, obviously, summer, Q3, kind of Q2 and Q3, the summer wedding season overlaps that period. So if you think about it, there is only 4 or 5 times a year that you need to strategically go in and optimize your product descriptions and your content so that you can be found for those particular occasions or milestones.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for answering. That just put everything in the right place for me.
So again, like I said, I mean, for example, you're a busy mom shopping for everyday jewelry. I would go into ChatGPT and I would say exactly that. I would say you are a busy mom shopping for everyday jewelry. Write 10 questions you would ask Google, and then you'd probably find some things which would make sense. Or if you were looking for fine jewelry, Google would say instead of diamond earrings, people are searching for best earrings for sensitive ears, or how to mix gold and silver jewelry, or jewelry that looks expensive but isn't, or jewelry for mom who doesn't wear jewelry. And you'll find you'll come upon all of these search terms, which can be crafted into a content narrative and be found organically, and also have an emotional resonance with your customer, as opposed to just barely listing what it's made of and what the technical specs of that jewelry are. That does not connect anymore. And right alongside AI is voice search, because when I'm looking for items on a voice search, I am rarely looking at it with a title. I'm mostly looking at it for an occasion, for a purpose, to go with a certain dress, to be styled at a certain event. So having those niche keywords in your story and your content overall organically helps you be found by the right audience who want your jewelry and would buy them. While we're on the subject of AI, I had another point that I wanted to make, which was here's my favorite trick. What I do is when I'm looking at I look at my competitors, then I say, you are a jewelry customer who is frustrated with traditional jewelry descriptions. List 20 alternative ways you would search for whatever product you're trying to sell, diamond earrings, and then you will discover that instead of heirloom transformation ring, you're getting answers like how to resize grandmother's ring, turn old jewelry into new, what to do with inherited jewelry. Now, if you've got that phrase, what to do with inherited jewelry, and you weave that in your product description, you could just literally start with wondering what to do with your inherited jewelry. Our heirloom transformation services does this. It's done. I'm like, here's a problem, here's a solution, and you're right there trying to get those people the product and the service that they want and deserve.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I know we're running out of time. We're already a little bit like over the time, and I feel like you have so much more to share. And I'm like trying not to stop you. I'm like, just please continue talking.
I could keep talking. I mean, if you want, we can take questions. I see there are a lot of questions. in
There's a
there.
lot of
One
questions.
that stuck out to me, Katie asked if there is a SEO booster app on Shopify worth paying for. No, a hard no. There isn't one. Most of these use templates. So they would take your product title, they would take your metal weight, and they would merge them into a SEO keyword, which is exactly against everything that we just spoke. And if your website isn't SEO optimized in the first place, then you had two different non-functioning keywords in two different places. All this app has done is now joined them together and given you a third non-functioning keyword. So I mean, it's a pet peeve, but I absolutely dislike any SEO apps. Plus, they're always trying to upsell and say your website is slow and one fixed button is going to change this and we're going to change image optimizations. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because all it does, even in terms of alt text, you and I were talking about alt text, August, earlier. All it does is it adds the same 14-carat diamond ring to your alt text, which is not what Google is looking for or ranking you for. Plus, there is one big thing. One of the jewelry businesses I knew got sued in 2022 for not having right alt text and not being accessible by Google for $75,000. So when you use these apps, the alt text that comes up are non-functional, plus they put you on a lot of risk. It's a little bit of monotonous work, but it's always better to go in and write your alt texts yourself. There is a very simple formula that we follow that you can take a note of, because this is absolutely which will take the tough part of writing your alt text and meta titles and make it easy, which is basically you follow. Was there another one now? So if you're using your product meta titles, you use your primary keyword, your brand name, your unique selling point. For example, diamond engagement rings, Luna jewels, handcrafted elegance. Or you take an emotional trigger primary keyword and a brand name, for example, stunning diamond necklaces, sparkle company, affordable luxury, right? If you're doing image optimization, this is the formula you follow. You say take metal, stone, style, collection, and then an identifier. So you say rose gold diamond solitaire engagement ring. And then if you had a lifestyle model who was wearing that, you would say rose gold diamond solitaire engagement ring on model on yourself. Or if you're self-modeling, then you would put your brand name in there as well. So it's as simple as occasion and style plus metal plus stone plus product type. Works every single time. And you're in complete control of the text that Google is actually reading. And people who are using screen readers or voice translators are also actually getting the correct information for your jewelry website.
That's really interesting. And what about the images? I have two questions about how to utilize images in your website. So the first one is the size, and people ask that to me all the time, but I'm really interested to know from the back end point of view, what is the size of the image that I should be using on the website for the best, most optimal, functioning?
If you're doing very intricate jewelry which needs to be zoomed in to the level where you want to show off the intricacy of either the stone or the shadow play or the color play of the stone, I would say 2000 by 2000 pixels is more than enough. But if that's not the case and you don't want such enhanced zoom functions, 1200 by 1200 pixels is usually good. If you do anything larger than that, Shopify is automatically going to optimize it and compress it down. And that might cause some blurriness. It might not load right. So it's always best to kind of stick to that. Up until some time ago, I used to say Instagram square size 1080 by 1080 works, because it works. If it's big enough to see on your Instagram clearly, it works on your mobile screen as well. And then anything larger is larger. But two sizes, 1200 by 1200 minimum, 2000 by 2000 maximum. In terms of format, never ever PNG. Never ever PNG. It has to be JPEG. And it could be WebP, but even with a JPEG, say if you resize it in Canva or Adobe, there are apps like Tiny PNG, or if you're using a Mac, there is an app called Image Optim. You can literally drag your image and it'll compress it by another 8 or 10% without losing quality, making it slow, making it compressed and optimized, not slow, sorry. Avoiding a slow website, because since that's the first thing, most Shopify themes have inbuilt lazy loading. So it automatically loads the first part and then loads the second and the third part later. Since your image appears right at top, it's absolutely important that it's optimized for size so that that bit loads as soon as possible and the customer is not looking at a blurry image.
That's amazing. Okay, you answered so many questions. And does the same apply for the header images that obviously have to be a little bit larger and of better quality? So obviously the 2000 pixels is probably the best
So
option
for
for
the
that, wouldn't it?
larger banner images, which are your slideshow, hero images, your block collection image, your collection banners, etc., you want them to be an easy hack to not have it ever confused is 1920 by 1080, which is your standard 16 by 9 widescreen TV ratio. That is more than enough. Sometimes the Shopify theme will recommend slightly larger sizes if they have extra functionality. In that case, it's usually written right where you upload the image. But 1920 by 1080 it works across as, I mean, even if you see your website on a 55-inch display, it's still going to look crystal clear. You can go slightly larger. 2048 by 1024 is good enough, like slightly over, but the larger the image, the longer it's going to take loading and it's going to slow down your website and the customer has to wait. I'm like, if the first image isn't loaded, I'm not really starting to shop on that website very soon.
And what do you recommend best for the header, for the banner image? Still photo, like a carousel, or a video?
Video is best. If you can do a video anywhere between 7 to 15 seconds, works best. It allows you to tell a much richer brand story in that 5 or 7 seconds. Usually all websites, right, when we evaluate websites, and you do that yourself unconsciously, all customers give websites 5 seconds to make an impression. So your first block, you want to convey what you do, why you're good, and why I should care. And all of this has to be conveyed in the first 5 to 7 seconds that I get on your website. Video obviously does a fantastic job because you can tell and share so much story in 5 seconds as opposed to still images. Carousels, on the other hand, do not function now. In this day and age, carousels are still something which is a little bit, like I said, pre-2020. I mean, think about it, all of you. The last time you went on a website, when was it that you waited 5 seconds for that slide to change because you wanted to see the second slide? It never happens. Nobody ever goes to the second slide. You land, you read the message, the call to action. Either you click on the button and start shopping on the collection, or you start scrolling vertically and then you find your pathway into the website either through collections or bestsellers or new arrivals and or however it goes. But so yeah, a static image or a video, but carousel would be a no for me.
Amazing. And what is the resolution of the video? Do you kind of have an idea of
20
that?
by 1080.
Perfect. Easy. That's an easy formula. I love that.
Like I said, I mean, if it is crystal clear enough to play without blurriness or without pixelating on a large screen TV, it's good enough for a desktop or a MacBook or a tablet. It's as simple as that. I mean, larger than that is.
Perfect. Amazing. Just a final few questions. If anyone has any questions, do drop them here. I feel like we're definitely gonna have to do part 2, of this, because I feel like there's still so much, to explore from your knowledge. Mika, oh no, sorry, Suzanne is asking, can you use ChatGPT to write alt text, or is that something that should be done?
No, absolutely. You can. You could just drag and drop your image into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write SEO optimized image name and alt text, and it will do a fantastic job without you having to remember any formula or anything. Just be sure to give it a little bit of context of your business, maybe drop in a few keywords that you often use. For example, Suzanne, I know I've worked with her for very long. Stitch jewelry, artisan jewelry, handcrafted jewelry, whatever the terms that you're using, give it a brief description of what you do, who you are. A lot of times your about page text is enough. If you just start and say, here is the information, copy paste your about page information from your website, and then drag and drop an image and say, give me image name, alt text, meta title, meta description. It'll do a fantastic job.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic. And Cheryl is asking, what is the best Shopify template to use for jewelry? Is one better set up for jewelry stores than another? And also, are templates actually worth using, or is it better to always customize?
We use Shopify templates only the ones available on Shopify Marketplace. I do not like to use templates which are like third party from Envato or not any of those. Nothing against them. Sometimes they are beautiful and a lot cheaper. So you probably would see templates in the price range of $50, $60, $70, $80 versus $200 or $300 that you pay on Shopify. But here's the difference. Those templates, when you go there, when you see the demo, those are built for 20 different use cases. So when they see and you go and say, oh, how this can be customized for apparel, how this can be customized for pet, versus Shopify templates, which usually have 2 or 3 styles that it can be customized in. The difference is those 20 extra styles that you can customize your header in 20 different styles, or you can customize your footer in 20 different styles, doesn't come without all that bloated code, which you don't need. You are only always going to use one header and one footer. Just having that option of other 19 header code right there on the top of your website is going to slow your website insanely. It's not protected by Shopify. It doesn't get lifetime updates. It's harder to update the theme itself. And customer service is a problem. I mean, some companies are good. Some companies do not provide great customer service if you get stuck. So that is an investment I always like to recommend to my clients to bite the bullet and spend that $250 once, because then you have that Shopify and theme partner support throughout the life of your website. And every time they release a new update, you are eligible, and whenever you're ready, you can update the theme. So Shopify themes are great. As for the question about customizing versus template themes, most themes can be personalized too. Like I said, they are conversion optimized. They've been tested. They've been built on some of these principles and allow you to add these functions, whether it is pairs well with, or whether it is trust signals, whether it is the icons that you want to use. It comes with a lot of these things inbuilt. So it's always ready. It's always best to get one of these Shopify vetted themes. It gets you to 80% of where you want to be almost every single time. There might be a very small part where you're like, okay, this is not to my liking. But if you try and custom build something from scratch, while it may look visually aesthetic and to your liking, it may be missing a lot of the responsive loading and the e-commerce functionalities that you would later need to use apps for.
That's great. And the final question, and I think I'm going to let you go. Dan is asking, are bullet points as a description okay? Or would you recommend expanding beyond bullet points?
Bullet points is something we usually use for the specs and material tab, like we saw earlier. It's better if it's used there where you're trying to communicate quick information. For the actual description or the story part, which is your first part of the description, it gives you more leverage if you can actually use a full sentence, because it allows Google's algorithm to understand the intent behind the product, like we saw with the product we're saying is it adds a touch of elegance, perfect for Valentine's. It allows you to really flesh out a whole idea versus just listing items in bullet points. So technically, SEO wise, and a user experience wise, it's always better to have a small, brief and concise, but worthy paragraph or description, brief description.
Fantastic. And I recently discovered that using AI for this is fantastic. And I've been experimenting a little bit more with Claude AI. And I feel like it's so much better with writing descriptions than ChatGPT. You know, it's just a little bit more, you know, it's hitting the spot. I was using it to craft some Mother's Day campaigns, you know, to kind of like help me understand, you know, the visual ideas I want to execute. It made me cry. I was like right at a very emotional, you know, idea because I was brainstorming. I was sat on the sofa crying because of, you know, all these sad ideas that it was creating. I was like, what is happening right here, you know?
I love
So
Claude. Claude has the most humanized, natural sounding output. It does not sound like ChatGPT. It is coherent. The grammar is often right. And if you use it, it'll often create documents and it'll give you an output which is ready to use as opposed to copy pasting. But there was another tool. I mean, do we have 5 minutes? Can I take 5 minutes? I'm going to show you a tool which will probably make you cry again.
yes,
Uh,
please.
have you used Google's Notebook yet?
No.
Oh, it's a absolute game changer, and I would recommend you to use it ASAP, because what it does, here's how Google's Notebook is different. Google's Notebook is not searching the whole language model and the whole wide internet for information. You add your sources to Google Notebook. So I will share my screen again. I'll show you in 1 second. I use it. I have so many use cases. I use it for practically everything. But here's what it looks like once you go into Google. It's free. It's absolutely free. So you go into Google, right? And you say create new notebook. Okay. Now let's see. Let's use your website as an example. For example, and you can all do this on your own websites. This will not only give you an easy way to recover your information, but it will also at least 10x your AI outputs. So let's say I'm going to take a couple of pages. I'm going to take this page. I'm going to say add it as a source, link website. I want to link it. And you can add all of these things at a source. You can add a Google Doc, you can add a Google slide, you can copy paste text. So I use this for my clients. I add all of their website pages, all of their collection pages, all of their press release articles that I have from every particular industry, magazine, publication, everything, right? So for example, if I'm looking at all of your services, right? So I just basically do this. Okay. Now it has information from all, and you can add up to 50 resources altogether, right? I can talk to this tool and ask questions, and I'm like, what are these services? And it'll give me exactly what your services are. And it also cites where and which source have they got that information from. But that's not the best part. The best part is once you've added all of your website sources, add as much as you want, up to 50 sources. You can then create a briefing doc. You can create a study guide. You can create a FAQ, and you can create a timeline. So now, if I look at this briefing doc, it has an overview. It has key themes and services. It has your social media management. It has your selling points. It has your target audience. It has overall everything. And you have 4 beautiful documents which answer everything about your brand. Any questions you ask, the reply is from within these sources. So it's, it's not hallucinating. It's not making up information. It has a credible source. But the best part is, then you take these documents and you plug them into ChatGPT, or you plug them into Claude before you ask it to create product descriptions, SEO titles, image name, alt next, and it has exactly all of the information that it needs to know about your business. So the outputs you get are going to be wildly ready to, close to what you want it to be and ready to use, because it knows everything about your business as opposed to you defining your business in one little paragraph.
That is the scariest and the most amazing thing I've heard.
So yeah,
Honestly,
that is the biggest AI advantage you can have, that instead of ChatGPT or these tools giving you random information, you give it a very detailed, extensive summary, and now it knows which keywords to pick. What if maybe you've used artisan jewelry only once on your about page, but it knows you're all about artisan jewelry. So if you say, give me SEO optimized titles, it is automatically going to add artisan sculptural jewelry or relevant keywords around that cluster of keywords in your outputs.
that's craziness. That is insane. Right, I know for a fact that I'm going to invite you for part 2 at some point in the year. Thank you so much for sharing so much information. Guys, please do connect with Sohail and yeah, just pick his brain, go and follow him on Instagram. Like, there's so much value that you can grab, from everything that he's posting. So maybe, yeah, you can just let us know where people can find you. And also, what are the services that you provide? Because, I've browsed your website and I feel like I would, if I had a jewelry brand, I would be running to you first thing to solve and optimize my Shopify page, So maybe you can tell people a little bit about what you do and what services you create and how people can find you.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to your community. I absolutely enjoyed it. My Instagram is at Jewelers League. I'm just going to put that in the chat box. You can follow me here. You can DM me. In terms of the website, I mean, I'll be straight. 2025 has been a pivotal year for our business. So our core expertise is in Shopify website design development and SEO optimization and conversion optimization for jewelry brands using these platforms. So we develop websites. We can help you with migration to Shopify. We can help you with any large or small projects, like you want to integrate app, you want to update your theme, you want to make sure your website goes faster, you want to make sure your website is SEO optimized all the way. So we do all of those projects, but something that I'm extremely excited about and something that we've been doing since Q4 of 24 is we are partnering up with jewelry businesses where we work with you on a minimum 3-month partnership basis where we can get a deep insight into your business, really understand who you are, and then phase out changes or phase out the upgrades or updates that your business needs, but do it in a way where we can guide you for that entire period where we are with you and we can learn more about your business and make those tweaks. Because we have often found that when people start a project, they have a certain idea of what they want to go, but as you dig deeper and as you find out more about the business and what will make it work, the end result is something else, or you may get a new website built, then if it's not converting. So I'm very excited this year, 2025. I'm mostly working with businesses who I can partner up with and be a long-term support system so that we could be an outsourced in-house team, if that makes sense, to take care of all of your Shopify and SEO needs. But yeah, that's at the core of it. We still do everything related to Shopify and everything related to organic SEO.
I feel like we should team up because this year we are diving more towards mentoring programs as well, especially on visual growth, So I feel like combining our visual growth strategies and social media creation and your website, development. I feel like these two paths connected would make businesses boom,
I
So
am convinced. You don't have to say it twice. I am totally convinced. Let's do it.
So if you guys want a double mentorship, we might be able to create
We
some.
love it because we know visual brand storytelling. I mean, you guys are absolute creative geniuses. I mean, I have referred so many people to you and your courses, and it's like anybody asks me anything about jewelry photography, I lead them straight to your Instagram. I'm like, there's nobody else I would trust apart from you. So love
My
it. Thank
heart
you.
just melted. You're the second, apart from Claude AI, you're the second person that is making me cry this month. So thank you. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for
Thank
staying
you.
a whole half an hour longer as well. I've been creating a summary of our conversation, which I'm going to convert into a newsletter, obviously tag you in there. So if you
Sure.
guys want to read the summary of this whole webinar, make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. Everything's in the Instagram links and everything. And if you want to rewatch this webinar one more time, because I feel like there's so much valuable information here, I'm going to upload it as an unlisted video. So, you can watch at your spare time with a cup of coffee. And I'm also going to share it in our community as well. So we can just delve and absorb this information a little bit better, because I feel like I need to listen to this like 3 more times and
I
like a
saw a
good
few chat
film.
messages asking for the PowerPoint or the slides. What I'd love to do is for your community is in a couple of days, what I do is I'd give you convert all of this into an easy to follow document maybe, and you can just send it, and maybe you can send it to your newsletter so that they have all of the names and all of the links and all of the prompts that we spoke about and all of the ideas we discussed in an easy to reference way. And you can throw that in Google Notebook and just ask it the question and say, what did Sohail and August discuss about this particular thing? And it'll bring you just that.
Fantastic. That is the plan. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that.
Awesome.
It's been lovely having you. It's been lovely having everyone else as well. Thank you for taking time from your lunch break and learning something new, many new things, in fact, I'm sure. So, yeah, till the next time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for your patience. It was lovely meeting you all.
See ya.